Made the drive today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, all the way up here to Alexandria. I'm standing in front of Big Ole, the big Viking here by the lake in Alexandria. I'm gonna walk over and check out the Legacy of the Lake Museum while I'm here, and then I'm going straight to Carlos Creek Winery. I can't wait to see what they're pouring for us today and which wine will pair up nicely with a walleye fish. So come with me and let's see what Minnesota has in store for us today. Standing tall against the Minnesota sky is a figure that has become the very soul of Alexandria, and his name is Big Ole. Sculpted by Gordon Shoemaker for the 1965 New York World's Fair, this 28-foot, 4-ton giant of fiberglass and steel was built to give the fair the pizzazz it desperately needed. Ole is the embodiment of a local legend, the Kensington Runestone, which claims Norwegians reached these lands in 1362. His shield once asked a provocative question: Minnesota, birthplace of America? It sparked controversy. Historians scoffed, pointing out the Viking Age ended centuries before 1362. Even the governor opposed him, but the people, they loved him. Big Ole's life has been anything but peaceful. He has survived trials that would have toppled a lesser titan. In 1967, while dressed as Santa, a flaming arrow sent him ablaze. He's been hit by cars, knocked cockeyed by freak windstorms, and even had his leg crushed when a warehouse roof collapsed under heavy snow. Vandalism, broken swords, and even a family of birds nesting on his shoulder. Ole has endured it all. Each time, the community of Alexandria has rallied, footing the bill to patch his wounds and repaint his scarlet cloak. He's more than a landmark, he's a survivor. And just a stone's throw away, the spirit of Minnesota's waters is preserved with equal passion at the Legacy of the Lakes Museum. What started in 1995 as a vision to protect our maritime history has blossomed into a world-class destination. Walking through the North Gallery, you are looking at craftsmanship that defines an era. From the legendary designs of Garwood and Chris Craft to rare wooden boats valued at over $2 million, the museum captures the life at the lake perfectly. You can even see a heelabout, a bizarre helicopter boat hybrid, and centuries-old Native American birch canoes. As you wander through the Legacy Gardens, a lush botanical oasis, you realize that Alexandria isn't just a dot on the map. It's a place where history, whether carved in stone or built in cedar, is fiercely protected. Standing out here on a beautiful summer day at Carlos Creek Winery. In my hand, I have their Petite Syrah. And one thing I'll tell you is that this grape is sourced from Lodi. And I've actually tasted this Petite Syrah made by different winemakers across the Midwest, because a lot of people source their grapes from Lodi and then they bring them into their winery. And for some reason, the Lodi grapes from this year, which I believe is 2022, actually comes off pretty well almost anywhere I go to drink them. So it's kind of a unique test to find out, while the winemakers have their own influence, obviously where the grapes come from and how they grow are super important. So let's give this particular Petite Syrah at Carlos Creek a go on the nose. And here you get a lot of black fruit. This is black fruit, this is plum, this is blackberries. It gets a little bit of like a tobacco there, almost a little bit like a red meat almost. Let's give it a go on a palate. It's really good. That is actually got a lot of that black fruit still comes through, and then you get a tobacco, and then you get this like almost cola taste. It's actually extraordinarily unique. I really like that. It becomes like, I don't know if you could do a dark cherry cola, but that's when it almost comes off in a dry fashion. So if you get by, I highly recommend you try their Petite Syrah. To understand the heart of Alexandria, you have to walk the rows of the Carlos Creek Winery. What began as a humble operation has transformed into a powerhouse of Midwestern viticulture. To look at it today, you'd hardly recognize the tasting room of 2008. Back then, the entire production, every crush, every ferment, every bottle, happened in the back of a single building. They were producing 7,000 gallons a year, a respectable feat, but the world was starting to notice Carlos Creek. As demand surged to 20,000 gallons, the walls began to close in. In 2015, the winery took a massive leap forward, constructing a state-of-the-art 6,700 square foot production facility. Complete with a dedicated laboratory to ensure scientific precision in every vintage, this was the moment Carlos Creek moved from a local secret to a regional titan. Today, they produce an incredible 34,000 gallons annually. But despite that scale, they remain deeply rooted in the soil beneath. 70% of their grapes are Minnesota grown, with nearly a third coming directly from this very estate. But Carlos Creek is about the moments shared here. Look at the Grand Hall. Once a stable, it underwent a dramatic transformation beginning in 2010. Today, after extensive renovations in 2022, it stands as a premier destination, seating over 350 guests. It's no wonder it has been consistently named one of the best wedding venues in the state. From the stone fireplace to the bridal suites, every inch screams excellence. The innovation didn't stop at wine. In 2019, a decade-long dream materialized with the opening of 22 Northmen Brewing Company and Stokewood Fired Pizzas. It was so successful that by 2023, a new 4,500 square foot beer production facility was required to keep the taps flowing. Whether it's the sizzle of the food truck in the summer or a fresh pint in the expanded tap room, the energy here is undeniable. In 2022, a new chapter began. Founders Kim and Tammy passed the torch to their son and daughter-in-law, Tyler and Michelle Bredesen. Tyler, who traded a law career for the vineyard in 2008, and Michelle, who built the events department from the ground up, now lead the charge. Their philosophy is simple: quality over profit. They believe that wine and beer should be welcoming, fun, and exceptionally good. As the sun sets over the vines, you realize that Carlos Creek is a living legacy of family, grit, and the pursuit of the perfect pour. So just starting this tasting here, totally excited. It's pretty killer. Take a look at all this. So we got a couple different tastings. When you walk in, they will let you pick what kind of tasting you want, or you can just do a pre-select tasting. So here is kind of a regular dry wine tasting. They have these custom-made medals to carry your glasses. And actually, right on here, we took the time to put in 1, 2, 3, and 4, which matches the menu, so you always know what you're drinking. Over here, I have the uber bougie, fancy 300 Club. Mrs. K thought that sounded really good, so we went ahead and got the 300 Club. It's supposed to be their select wines every year that they think they made best. And actually what I'm tasting right here, right now, is one of the 300 series wines. I just thought this was really intriguing. This is called Prairie Star. Now, Prairie Star is a grape created by the University of Minnesota. The University of Minnesota, as I've learned, has made a lot of quality grapes that can be grown in the kind of northern, central to southern to eastern United States. This is one I never heard of, called Prairie Star. Let's give it a go on the nose. Interesting. It's kind of got like a caramelish, lemony thing. I'm told this is supposed to be like a Chardonnay. I'm not kind of getting those Chardonnay things. I'm kind of getting a little bit of like a cooked apple there, a little bit like cooked golden apple, and a little bit of butter there. Let's give it a go on the palate. Oh, that caramel kind of turns into butterscotch, and then you get a little bit of like spice, like a cinnamon spice there, and then that green apple, or that cooked golden apple is probably a better expression, definitely still comes through. The Prairie Star is super unique, so if you get here, I just suggest try it, because you're probably never going to get to try it anywhere else. I have to tell you about this surprise. So if you come here to Carlos Creek Winery, you'll know they have Stokes Pizza. You actually have a brewery next door to the winery, and inside the brewery there's a little off building there where they do pizzas. They also have a food truck that evidently drives around and does pizzas around Alexandria during the summer. But they have all kinds of very creative pizzas here, and this I had to try because it's the Cowboy Pizza. I think the guy back there at the cash register said, well, of course, you gotta stay on theme, go with the Cowboy Pizza. So anyway, the Cowboy Pizza here is barbecue sauce, pulled pork, bacon, jalapenos, and then they put crispy onions on top. I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty killer. It's wood-fired, it's delicious, and if you get here and get the Cowboy Pizza, you gotta pair it with this Bourbon-aged Cabernet Sauvignon. It matches up perfectly. The dark fruit with the date kind of flavor that's in this Cabernet Sauvignon pairs perfectly with the barbecue sauce and the jalapeno spice. So anyway, give this a go if you ever get here. Just finished the wine tasting here in Alexandria, Minnesota at Carlos Creek Winery. What an experience. This is a sprawling venue. They've got something for everybody here, and really enjoyed, I think my favorite wine here was a Riesling. Really enjoyed it. And then also the Petite Syrah made from the Lodi grapes was pretty fantastic. And hey, you gotta love the Cowboy Pizza. Anyway, I've still got one thing I gotta do on this trip, and that's try some walleye, that's the state fish, and see which wine from Carlos Creek would have paired nicely with that walleye. So come with me and let's head on over and have some fish. In the land of 10,000 lakes, one icon reigns supreme beneath the surface. It is the holy grail of freshwater fish, the walleye. Designated as the official state fish in 1965, the walleye is more than just a catch. It is a cornerstone of Minnesota's identity. From the first hatchery established in 1877 to the millions of angling hours spent in pursuit of this prized species today, the walleye drives the pulse of Minnesota's outdoor heritage. Its importance is etched into the landscape, celebrated by massive roadside statues in towns like Garrison and Baudette, each vying for the title of Walleye Capital of the World. But the true legend is found on the plate. Known for its firm texture and mild, succulent flavor, the walleye is a culinary staple. Whether it's an iconic shore lunch fried right on the lake bank, or a signature sandwich in a local tavern, this fish is the taste of a Minnesota summer. We've explored the history of the lakes and the legacy of the vines. Now it's time for the ultimate collision of Minnesota flavors. It's time to take the perfectly fried golden brown walleye and pair it with a selection from Carlos Creek Winery. This is the taste of Alexandria. This is Minnesota in one sitting. All right, just wrapping up this trip here in Minnesota. Super excited to try this walleye. Walleye is the state fish for Minnesota. It's just a white, flaky fish caught right here. And I'm actually pairing that right now with the Frontenac Rosé, which for me is a little sweet, so it's not the perfect pairing. But this wine came from Carlos Creek Winery. They actually serve it right here at this restaurant. Pretty proud of that. They even serve the beers from Carlos Creek as well. So good way to keep things local. I really like that. The fish came off perfect. It's fried perfectly. And their tartar sauce is homemade from here, and probably most people would like that, but I'm not a big tartar sauce fan. I asked for cocktail sauce, which I love, on my fish, and they actually had it, and it comes off perfection. It's actually wonderful, wonderful, very delicious. So I really enjoyed that, and if I had to look back at my pairings today, I'm gonna tell you the wine I would pair with this would be that Riesling. It's a crisp, dry, white, pair wonderful with that, and that horseradish would actually play nice with that crisp white wine as well. So I'm gonna say so long from now, from D Mike's here in Alexandria, and that's gonna conclude this episode from Minnesota. I hope I get to see you somewhere on the wine trail.